The sound of armored footsteps echoed as a tall warrior stepped forward, his presence heavy and commanding. He glanced at the group with sharp eyes and questioned if they had the strength to claim first place. Resting his massive weapon on his shoulder, he added that he would only consider joining them if they could truly reach that level. His tone carried confidence, as if victory was the only condition worth his time. He continued firmly, saying he had no interest in teaming with the weak. What he wanted above all else was the top position in the upcoming assessment. His words left a heavy silence between them. One of the men, calm but direct, reminded him that an invitation to join the Fengyan Pavilion had already been offered in the past, yet he had turned it down without hesitation. The armored warrior admitted he normally wouldn't ask anyone for help, but the strict rules of the assessment left him no choice. He added that he was willing to join them temporarily, but only for the duration of the test. The crowd began whispering, curious about his identity. Someone explained that his name was Mangjia, a transfer student who had arrived not long ago. Others revealed more details. Mangjia came from a military family, raised under discipline and training from a young age. Since transferring, he quickly gained a reputation, with many believing he was the strongest among them. More whispers spread about his accomplishments. Mangjia had built an impressive record in ranked matches, boasting a 132-win streak. He had even defeated a top contender, ranked number 3, which meant his next opponent would likely be one of the strongest challengers left. A boy admitted he had never fought in ranked matches, but he saw the upcoming assessment as the perfect chance to test himself against stronger opponents. The others whispered that for him to replace Zhang Fengyan's rank, he must truly be the real deal. Some guessed Zhang Fengyan would likely team up with Mangjia, while another added that if the group proved strong enough, there would be no need for them to step in. Their expressions carried both doubt and curiosity about what was coming. Suddenly, a cloaked figure rushed in, shouting in excitement that he had just seen Wu Fan return. His words shocked the crowd, making heads turn in disbelief. Zhang's composure broke as he demanded to know where Wu Fan was and when he had come back, his voice filled with urgency and alarm. The crowd buzzed with confusion, wondering who Lu Fan was and why his return stirred such a strong reaction. Some confirmed they hadn't seen him yet, but the possibility of his comeback had already shaken them. A student explained that Lu Fan was a dragon tamer, the number 1 from King Yin class. His reputation alone was enough to make others uneasy. Another admitted that if Lu Fan truly returned, their chances of claiming first place would vanish completely. Hearing this, Mengjia's expression hardened. With anger boiling over, he shouted that it was ridiculous to admit defeat without even fighting, his voice echoing like a challenge to everyone present. A sudden burst of power struck, shocking those nearby and sending them stumbling back in fear. Mangjia's voice thundered as he declared that he wasn't boasting without reason. He had the strength, the rank, and the qualifications to aim for first place. He mocked the others, asking where their earlier confidence had gone. Gasps filled the crowd when they noticed the emblem on his chest. Someone shouted in disbelief that it was the mark of the blood-clad army. Whispers spread quickly this army was one of the strongest organizations in the Dark Iron Country, directly serving under the Great Axe King. The onlookers wondered if Mangjia truly had military honors despite being only a little older than them. Another confirmed it was no exaggeration. With his blood medal, he had the authority to command hundreds of soldiers from the blood-clad army. Mangjia raised his voice proudly, revealing that since childhood he had been trained in the blood-clad army. He awakened his combat profession amidst corpses and blood, vowing to become the youngest great general who would protect the nation. Gasps rippled through the crowd as they realized he truly was part of the blood-clad army. Some could hardly believe it. He had spent his student years not in classrooms, but on the battlefield, fighting and killing to survive. Mangjia then explained why he demanded first place in every assessment. His goal was to graduate early so he could return to the blood-clad army with honor. With a commanding gesture, he asked directly if the others had the confidence to defeat Lu Fan. The tension thickened as a hesitant reply came. Faced with Meng Jia's overwhelming aura, one of them struggled to respond, their voice faltering as they admitted their uncertainty. One of the onlookers thought to himself that if Meng Jia, a warrior hardened by life and death battles, chose to join them, then perhaps the Funyun Pavilion would finally have a real chance at redemption. The tension broke as hands were clasped firmly, sealing an alliance. Meng Jia was welcomed into the team with respect. His confident reply carried pride, showing he was more than ready to take the lead. The crowd erupted in cheers, amazed by his overwhelming presence. They whispered that they were about to witness the rise of a new number one, while one voice hesitated, realizing something important might still be missing. As the crowd celebrated, one cautious voice reminded Boss Zhang that it might be too early. After all, Lu Fan was no ordinary opponent, he was a dragon tamer who had even participated in the national trials. Zhang dismissed the concern coldly, saying it didn't matter. He claimed Meng Jia's achievements alone were enough to overshadow Lu Fan and even make him feel ashamed of his own record. Meng Jia acknowledged the mention of the national trials but brushed it aside. He stated that while Lu Fan might have dragon pets, true strength came from real experience. With a confident smirk, Meng Jia declared that Lu Fan had never faced the chaos of the front lines. He admitted he was eager to see just how strong Lu Fan truly was. At Dragon Capital Academy's Villa No. 2, excitement filled the air. Someone exclaimed that the equipment laid out before them was far too powerful. A girl marveled at the items, shocked that their senior had given so much to them. Another pointed out that the gear was so valuable and strong, it could be used even at level 57. The group admired how their senior had prepared skill books and protective equipment for everyone, even thinking about Miss Yi's safety. Grateful, they reminded Little Fan to properly thank her on everyone's behalf. Overwhelmed with joy, the girl raised a glowing sword high, shouting in delight that it was her very first legendary weapon. The brilliance of the blade marked a new step forward for her. One girl held a radiant staff in awe, stunned that it was far more valuable than anything her wealthy father could ever buy. She admitted she couldn't believe such a treasure was now hers. Another girl admired her weapon, explaining that the enchantment effects alone were something she could never have afforded on her own. With gratitude, she thanked her senior sincerely. The group's excitement grew as they tested their new gear. They encouraged each other to perform well in the upcoming exam, thrilled that their stats had skyrocketed, with some even doubling in strength. Amidst the celebration, they reminded Lu Fan to properly invite their senior as a guest, so they could thank her personally for her generosity. Lu Fan agreed, knowing they couldn't afford to seem ungrateful. Lu Fan explained that certain family matters would take about a month to resolve, smiling as he reassured the group. Suddenly, a knock at the door interrupted the conversation. Someone called out that a visitor had arrived. The girls speculated that the evening's events would soon be over, leaving them wondering who it could be. Lu Fan stepped forward to answer the door, meeting an older man in a black suit and sunglasses. He cautiously asked the stranger who he was. The man removed his glasses with a respectful gesture and formally asked if he was speaking to Mr. Lu Fan. The older man stepped forward respectfully and introduced himself as Morozov, a representative from the Snow Country. He explained that young Master Andre had entrusted him with overseeing the renovation project for Lu Fan's territory, making his purpose for the visit clear.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.